Alright legends, we are back on this Lexus this morning. We have the custom control arms have just come in, and yes, I'm going to be putting them in, and then we'll get them set to roughly what we need and get them down, and then yeah, we'll dial it in from there. But yeah, I'm looking really forward to getting this off the hoist and checking it out outside, because although it's not really my cup of tea, I can still appreciate the car, and I think it's going to be pretty cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that done. Also in this episode we've got an R32 GTR coming in to get some work done. I think there's a BF Falcon coming in, and then there might be a few other little jobs in amongst the mix, but this is a weekend before Christmas. You guys will be seeing this, I think, just before New Year's, but yeah, so I'm trying actually to have as least work as possible this weekend so I can get back on top of everything. And I've also got the giveaway is going to be announced. I've got to cut up a heap of tickets and put them in the raffle bin and get that organised for the giveaway. Except I just realised I think the boys next door still have my raffle bin, so I need to get it back off of them so that we can get the raffle done. But anyway, let's get into it. So we're getting there. I've had the wheels off these a bunch of times. Looks like we're going to foul here when turning. I'm just playing around with the camber and the height at the moment to try and get a bit of a happy medium between really low and being able to drive the car. So yeah, I've just adjusted the height again, and then I'm just about to adjust the camber, and then we'll put it back down. I'm going to try and raise the hoist up so that I can actually get this sitting, because at the moment I've been lowering it down onto blocks, because it was quite a lot higher when I put it on the hoist, and sometimes you can't get the arms back out. But I think I've got enough play that I should be able to adjust. I'll put it down on the blocks and then adjust the arms all the way down as close as I can, because I need to get the car on the ground so I can turn it side to side so I can see what we're dealing with, and then we can chuck it back up and then keep modifying. But the back shouldn't be as hard as the front. The front's quite complex because there's a lot going on. You've got to be able to turn. But the backs, I reckon I'll just be able to throw them in about 10 mil, and then they'll have plenty of clearance and they'll be fine. And also the fronts, I need to do a bit of a redneck wheel alignment on it. I think they're poking outwards, need to bring them in a little bit. So yeah, I'll have a bit of an update soon, but I just haven't been filming removing and putting the wheels back on 400 times because it's not the most interesting thing to watch. But yeah, once I get it a little bit more dialed in, I'll be back. thought we had it pretty dialed in. It was looking pretty good, but when you turn the opposite, when you turn right, the left side of the wheel actually drops and touches the guard, and when you turn the other way, it does the opposite. So yeah, not ideal, because yeah, sitting at that height, it looked like we were actually gonna be able to drive it at that height, but it doesn't look like it unless I go a little bit more camber. I think I'll have to go a little bit more camber, and then we'll see how we go, because at the moment I actually don't need to cut anything out. It's just touching. I've got to put a screw in the wick guard liner just to pull it back in a little bit more, but other than that, it's looking pretty good at the front. So I think what we'll do is he wants the camber. He'd prefer to obviously have the car tighter to the guard, but yeah, I've got to just play around with it a little bit more. I don't think we're gonna have to cut the bumper, so that's a good sign so far. But yeah, I just think we're gonna end up having a little bit more camber than he wants, because I just adjusted it back out before I dropped that down, but I probably should have left it where it was just to see, because I think with a little bit more camber it might actually clear that guard, but we'll see. I'll chuck it back up, chuck some more camber on it, and we'll put it back down again. Alright, after hours and hours of mucking around, adjusting and fiddling with things, yeah, I've got it at a height that he's happy with and I'm happy with, and yeah, so we're about to lock it all away. I'm going to put it up, take all 4 wheels off, and make sure everything's bolted up, ready to go, and is safe to go. It's safe, so I can take it for a drive. We've got good clearance on everything now, and then once I know that it drives fine, I'll put it back on the hoist, and then we're going to do the rear guard liners, and then once they're done, put all the plastic trims back in the boot. So I don't want to do any of the trim and the rear guard liners until I know that the coilovers are all adjusted perfectly, because you can't get to the coilovers with the guard liners and the rear plastics and stuff in. So that's the reason I've left them out so far. And yeah, so let's chuck this thing back up on the hoist one more time. You know, I think it's been up and down on the hoist about 100 times. And yeah, tighten up all these bolts, and then we'll take a test drive, which I'm looking forward to doing. So yeah, let's get back into it. Alright, we're done with the Lexus and we're moving on to this Falcon now. This is getting a exhaust put on it and guards rolled all round. And then we have a GTR coming in to get some work done. But yeah, we've got a freeway meet tonight, so I've got to try and find some time today to work on my own car. And then we still haven't we're meant to last night put the diff back in that van. Might end up videoing a little bit of that, who knows. But yeah, we're meant to be doing that today as well, and then I've got to try and wash my car and get that ready for freeway tonight. But we were meant to be doing it last night, but I ended up going down and having beers with Pulley instead. Yeah, anyway, let's get into it. been going on. I'm having no luck with rear left quarter panels. There's like a heap of little dots in here. Probably you won't be able to see it, but right along this edge here, which is from a weld-on dint puller. So this has been caved in at some point and they've popped it out. I had a funny feeling this has been painted because it's like a faded silver compared to the rest of it. Luckily enough, I've got enough clearance. I think he should be okay. I've got like 1 mil less than the other side, so I was nearly done. But just as I went to push it on the next bit, just a little bit more pressure, I seen all those holes pop up, and it's obviously a weak spot in the metal because it's where they've pulled it out. Yeah, but we'll stop there and it should be okay. It's hard to see if you can only see it on the right angles, but I just feel bad for people when this stuff happens. You know, when there's been a repaired quarter, you can't always tell. Like that Lexus, as soon as I had it on the hoist, I could tell that it had bog in the quarter. But if you haven't seen that, it's in the last episode. But yeah, this Falcon, I had a funny feeling with the paint that it maybe been resprayed, but it didn't look like there was any bog or anything in the quarter. So yeah, it's a shame. At least it happened and I caught it straight away, but it happened right as we were pretty much done. So we're 1 mil different to the other side. I think the Falcon diffs sit harder to that side anyway, I think. Hopefully that's the case. So then he'll be fine. The front's done, rear's done. I'm just going to chuck the wheels back on now, and then we will change this exhaust over. As you can see, it's ripped the guard out there. The other side's the same. Actually, I think it's done in 2 spots. Yeah, it's done it here, which that paint's cracked, and it's done it here as well. So that's a problem when you don't get your guards rolled. He doesn't want to roll the rear for now, but I can see the rear's caught here, just. And it's caught here. Oh, and there, and there. Yeah, right. So unfortunately the rear guard's been catching as well, but he doesn't want to roll the rears for now for whatever reason. So we're going to leave it. Maybe it's got bog in the quarter panel. He doesn't want to tell me, I'm not sure. But we're not going to be rolling the rears. We're just going to be fixing up the fronts and then roll the fronts around so it doesn't happen again. The rears, he reckons he's going to raise the suspension up a little bit so that it doesn't do it anymore, but you never know. And this is the problem, is when you don't do it and it grabs, it causes damage. And then most likely the paint's going to crack. So yeah, guys, it is just easier to get your guards rolled before you lower your car. Then you don't have to worry about it. Man, I can't get over how hard this thing is to drive. I mean, I'm probably just not a cool enough race car driver, but I think it's a triple plate clutch or something. It's some custom Japanese clutch from some place that only make like 1,000 clutches a year or 100 clutches a year or something like that. Meant to be the best clutch you can get, but it's just hectic. Real hard and noisy too. You probably would have heard that in the video at the start, but yeah, it's crazy. Alright, anyway, let's get these wheels off and get into it. How wild is this suspension setup? I've never seen upper control arm like that. I've never seen like the hub and upper control arm. It's a crazy setup. It's wild as. I'm actually going to put this thing up. I want to have like a look underneath it because I've never seen underneath the GTR before. So yeah, once we do the guards, we'll do that. At the moment, I'm too nervous to do anything other than my job. Alright, we've got the passenger side done. Now we're going to move over to the driver's side. I'll tell you what, that was the most nervous I've ever been rolling a guard my entire life, and I'm not even sure why. Something I've done my whole entire life, so I don't even know why I'm nervous, but I suppose, oh man. Looks like this guard's got bloody bog in it. I really hope it doesn't. Passenger side went really well. Now we're moving to the driver's side, but I can see scratch marks in the paint, which is usually a sign that there's bog in there. All we can do is put the other wheel back on, take this wheel off and give it a crack. Anyway, the other side's come up really good. You can tell the difference between the two guards, the unrolled and the rolled guard. So yeah, makes a big difference getting your guards rolled. But on cars of this era, it can be tricky because they usually had a paint job. You've usually got bog in the guards. Seems to be something I've been getting stuck a lot with lately. But anyway, let's get back into it. Alright, so we're done with this Skyline. I just got to put it down and nip up the wheels. Check out the size of this exhaust. This thing is hectic. this car's come up well. Was a little bit hairy just because it's such a nice car. I was just really worried about how it was going to roll considering how damaged it was. But yeah, no, it's come up really well. I think he's going to be stoked. I reckon he's probably going to end up having to get his rears rolled, but he wants the fronts done for now, so I've done the fronts. But anyway, hope you guys you've enjoyed the video as much as I have. It's been another interesting one. But yeah, if you guys need work like this done to your car, hit me up. Until then, I'll see you on the next one.